totally necessary to protect this baby's life. And I know, we can talk about biology and we can go deep down into the brain and we can say that RD's brain and my brain, we're worried about our genes. We want our genes to survive. But it doesn't feel like genes. Doesn't feel like genes. No, it feels like us. It feels worse. It feels more important than us. We would give our lives in a second to hold that baby and to protect that baby. It's an amazing thing. Mm. Nothing more powerful than that. Nothing on this earth more powerful than that. You can go to Mars. You could die for protecting a world leader. Nothing is going to feel as important as you feel, man or woman, when you hold your baby. It's amazing. It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make practical sense. It's just, it's something we don't understand yet. We can be pretty sure of that because you'll hear 100 different descriptions. I'll bet we could even get Guy Shea to come up and talk about when he held his first child. Even Guy Shea, who would rather stab you in the eye than talk to you, will talk to you about his first child when he held that child. We are doing a home birth if all goes well. Good, man. Follow nature, man. That's great. As long as you have some medical professionals or at least one present with you, that's great. You know, the more natural, the better. I trust whatever's happened for the past 30, 40,000 years. I trust that more than any medical professional. Not medical professional, because I want to give the nurses and the doctors credit, but medical technique, like the underwater bursts. No, I'm going to stay away from that and go with what we've done. And as long as you have a medical professional available, or at least a phone call away, 3 minutes away, then do your thing, man. Do your thing. You're going to be a happy dad, RD, I can tell. I can tell you're looking forward to it, or you wouldn't talk about it. You wouldn't believe how many American men I've heard talking about their babies going, yep, just got to make more money. Really? That's what you need? You want to make more money. So your soon-to-be ex-wife can go spend it on fur coats at the mall, and then your baby has nothing. I mean, I've already sent 32 grand already. $32,000 in support of my daughter. Not to mention what I've spent taking care of her. And nothing's enough. Nothing is enough. You could send them 10 million and nothing's enough. It's just, I don't know. I want to get away from that because it sounds a little too sappy. Let's get to something fun. Let's talk about cocks. Let's talk about vaginas. What is it about the titties? I'm sitting here looking at these funny videos. Fail Army. If you haven't checked it out, check it out on YouTube. Fail Army. Titties hanging out, left and right. The left titty looks like it's got secret business. It's talking to the shoulder. It's like, you and I had an agreement, didn't we? But the right titty's looking forward. And the right titty's like, hey, y'all. And that confuses me because I know the woman is thinking, I'm just doing an interview here on a major news network. But the left titty's got its own action going on. This confuses me. If I were to go down and talk to the left titty or the right titty, I would be confused. I wouldn't know who to interview first. I'd probably throw the microphone over on the left titty and say, did you miss something? Are you sniffing the underarm? What are you doing there? What's that, left titty? And the right titty's like, I'm sitting here ready. I'm trying to get famous. Interview me, bitch. I don't know what it is. And then you go down to the vagina, and the vagina's like, I'm covered up. Why are you talking to me? And the great thing about the vagina is it talks to you. Have you ever talked to a vagina? It's a great experience. The vagina, if it's clean, it can talk in French, English, sometimes a little Yiddish. It really depends on what it's trying to accomplish. If the vagina shuts down and is not interested in you or anything you have to offer, it will shut the fuck down. It's gone. You can't talk to it. It's like a dead plant. But if you speak the right language to the vagina says, hey, Why don't you impress me? That's the problem I have. I'm not impressing anybody no more. If a vagina says to me, "Why don't you impress me?" I'll say, "Shut the fuck up, vagina. I don't have time for that. I really don't. I'm sorry, vagina. I've got nothing to show you or say to you that's impressive. You go ahead and find some guy that's willing to sing and dance, some monkey boy somewhere. I'm just sitting here going, fuck that vagina. I know the vagina's pretty. I know it is. It's pretty. I'm a guy, so I'm looking at the pretty butt and the pretty eyes and the pretty nose and the pretty lips and the pretty chin, jaws, neckline, shoulders, arms, elbows. Fingers are funny. The feet, look, I've heard weird people say I have a foot fetish. No, there's about 0.5% of women that have feet that I like. The rest, see ya. You look like I don't know what. But there's about 0.5% of women that have beautiful feet. And I already know exactly what I want. I want a nice arch. I want a low count on veins. I want a very powdery white skin, very unsullied, if you will. And if you don't know what unsullied means, you're going to have to look that up because I don't do your goddamn homework for you. RD says, yeah, we got 2 people attending. Good. You're doing fine, RD. You're going to do fine, bro. I know you're worried, man. Don't be worried. Don't be worried. Nature happens with or without your approval. Keep that in mind. K-Tab's going to give you some tips. Nature happens with or without your approval. You just want to make sure you have competent medical professionals around. You don't want them over attentive. You just want them around, there, local. I'm smoking these nasty cigarettes. I'm going to die, RD. I feel fine now. I mean, overall, because I've been drinking. When I wake up tomorrow, the first thing I'll feel is my back. And I'll be begging for the VA to do a surgery. And then my knee, I'll be begging for the VA to do 2 surgeries. And now I've re-broken my foot, which is about the 4th time in 6 months. I don't know what where I was gonna go with that. I feel broken. But yet you put somebody in front of me like a dickhead, like a goofy bone, and I'll rip his fucking throat out. It's weird, man. It's weird how we work. I can do anything with adrenaline for 2 minutes. Anything. Name it. And then I'm done for a week. It's very weird. Beautiful breeze blowing out here in Arizona, aka Arid Zone. I'm watching Apocalypse right now. I've been paid to watch Apocalypse. Been told that he's running a little bit of underground shit against the government, so got to do what I got to do to make some money. And apparently he's pretty innocent, so I'm not gonna blame him. But what I don't understand is why he's wearing a giant fake purple cock and beating it with these foam hands. And here's the other thing. He's launching these Roman candles up into the cock. So it's like not even extending outside the cock. It's just blowing up inside. So that's a whole... I think he may be Mormon is the only thing I'm thinking. If he's Mormon, that makes sense. So RD says, couldn't believe that we got an anti-vaccine midwife. That's awesome. We got 2 people. Anti-vaccine. Okay, talk to me about that, RD. And I never disagree with you on anything, but why are you worried about vaccines? Vaccines so far, in my opinion, have proven to save way more lives than they've taken. So are you thinking that there's a vaccine out there that may harm you or your wife or your child? Tell me about that. I'm looking at odds, man. That's all I got to go on. I got to go on numbers. What? Good news for you guys. By 9/11, 2016, I will, I think, have the William Wallace book out. The Scotsmen I've talked to and Scots women are super psyched about this book. This is the one book that I've put out. It's the 6th book that I've written, the 5th book that I've published, that will totally fire up a country. I can't believe it. You wouldn't believe all the support I'm getting from Scotsmen. And I'm saying to them, I'm telling them, look, William Wallace wasn't perfect. He was not perfect. He made mistakes, and they're like, no, just tell the truth. Tell the truth. So that's great, but England's going to hate me, and I love my English brothers and sisters, and they're going to hate me. And that bothers me a little. And probably the Catholic Church is going to hate me, and that bothers me a little. But I'm not used to talking to fellow authors. And in fact, I don't read fellow authors in my genre because I don't want them to taint my style. So who knows? Who knows how that's going to come out? But I already have major, massive support from Scotland. I can just about guarantee you that 90% of Scotland's going to buy this book. That's crazy, isn't it? But probably 60% of England's going to say, what the fuck are you talking about, man? And I'm going to go, look, I tried to be honest. Honesty, truth, not always appreciated. Not always appreciated, man. Anyway, I'm going to turn down the volume on my feedback here to make sure I'm coming through. I'm looking at the titties. I'm looking at the egg titties on the whatever that thing is. I can't remember what that device. It's a device. It is. It's what women wear to get sex, and it's a shame because, you know, the pretty women. Jane March is the prettiest woman that ever existed, in my opinion. Very close second to her is Alyssa Milano. Believe me, you put those two in a lineup, I'm not thinking anymore. I am total animal. Here's another thing, humans. I'd like you to consider something. I haven't figured out the percentage yet, but why don't you go ahead and figure for your own, what do I want to call it? Anyway, so figure half your brain is pretty much focused on logic, reason, thinking, and the other half is emotional. And if you remember that, just, I don't know, put a number you want on it. 70% logical, 30% emotional. I think it's about 50-50. And that emotional part of your brain is going to make you make bad decisions. And what I mean by bad is they may work in the short term, but in the long term, they're going to cost you. So the instant reaction you have with emotional decisions is probably the wrong one. Wait 3 days, wait 4 days, wait 5 days, and then make your hardcore decision. If you can, if it's one of those decisions that's not life-threatening or otherwise heavily threatening, make your decision slowly. Give it 4 or 5 days. Slowly, that's a relative term, but I'm going to say 4 or 5 days. Then commit. And I guarantee you're going to be happier with the result than if you had made it instantaneously. Guarantee you, man. I've seen it too many times. I know it's hard. You know, something happens to you. You want to go, bam, right now. And I've got scars all over my knuckles that prove that instant decisions are not the best decisions. Wait 4 or 5 days and then make your decision. And then commit to it if you want to, like hardcore. But if you commit hardcore right off the bat, there's a reasonable chance you're going to regret that decision. So RD says, thank you for coming, by the way, RD. RD says, give 20,000 kids vitamin K to prevent one of them to have issues. Sounds a bit dumb, am I? Oh, I agree. We haven't made up our minds about vaccines and artificial vitamins, but I personally don't like the shotgun approach. Couldn't believe that. I can pretty much promise you, RD, that there is no science that has overcome the value of breastfeeding, so go with that. I mean, Mother Nature has taken care of hers. What you want to do is watch out for measles, mumps, rubella, and suddenly exposed and potentially moving bacteria in your area. And you also want to keep a distant eye out for what's new bacteria that are melting from the Arctic ice, because there's plenty of bacteria and viruses stored in there. Now, I don't think that's going to affect you. So I say go with nature. I mean, that's my advice. Go with nature, and then talk to a pediatrician that you trust and say, what does my baby need? And what does the mother need to stay the most healthy? And if you don't like the answers you're getting, go to another pediatrician and compare the answers.